Listen to his voice. Do not be afraid. Do not be afraid. Open up your hearts to Christ. The deepest joy there is in life is the joy that comes from God and is found in Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Is the hope of yours, is my hope. He is the hope of the world.
Welcome to Season 3 of the Catholic Files with Father Sean Donnelly, pastor of Immaculate Conception Church in Madison, Ohio. As we begin this new season, Father Donnelly invites you to journey deeper into the heart of our Catholic faith through the powerful writings and teachings of Pope St. John Paul II, a shepherd, theologian, and saint whose words continue to inspire the Church and the world. From the dignity of the human person to the call to holiness, from mercy to mission, this season will explore the wisdom and spiritual depth of a Pope who challenged us all. Be not afraid. We're so glad you've joined us. Now here is Father Donnelly.
Welcome to the podcasting on the various documents of Pope John Paul II. So today, fittingly, being that the Pope gave this document to the Church in 1990 on the Feast of the Assumption, which is only about 11 days away from this particular broadcast, the anniversary of the giving of this document, I will be speaking on his writing. It's called From the Heart of the Church in English, or Corde, Ecclesiae, on Catholic universities. So let's begin. Lord, thank you for helping us to grow in our faith and to give us the grace to desire to develop deeper understandings of what it is to be chosen to live as members of your flock, the flock of your Son, members of the Church. Help us understand that faith and understanding go together, actually, that we don't believe blindly, and then we don't have the idea that we don't need faith because we know too much. It doesn't work that way. We need both faith and understanding. So with that in mind, dear friends, let's begin. Ex Corde, Ecclesiae, from the Heart of the Church. The document, the Constitution, was signed by the Pope and on the solemnity of the Assumption. Okay. In 1990. The document urged retrieving the idea that Catholic college or university is part of the mission of the Church. And as the document title indicates, there were these institutions that had grown from the heart of the Church, and their life should reflect that. So Catholic universities are connected with the Church, with her mission, her purpose, and come out of the Church's life in that respect. So therefore, they should be Catholic, not just in name, but in fact. Now, the document, according to George Weigel, who wrote the book Witness to Hope on the ministry of Pope John Paul II, the document was well received in certain areas of the world, not everywhere. There was a negative reaction to From the Heart of the Church, especially in the United States. As Weigel writes, the dominant tendency among American Catholic higher education leaders and the theological community was to frame discussion of the document in terms of Vatican interference with their institutional autonomy and academic freedom. And of course, this was a way of trying to deflect what the Pope was saying, indicating that in a matter of speaking, that Catholicism is basically something that we like to advertise, but don't expect us to live it out. In other words, some of the university officials in our country have had the mentality, which is why one reason the Pope issued the document, to correct people, and many people needed to be corrected. In 1967, there was an unfortunate session called Land O'Lakes in the city of that name, Wisconsin, which had to do with Catholic college and university presidents meeting, and they were going to basically, for all intents and purposes, take away the Catholic substance of the American colleges and universities as independent entities, and not really connected with any sort of Roman Catholicism. And the resulting effort, as Weigel writes, to sever the legal control that had been exercised by bishops or religious orders over Catholic colleges and universities, effectively, if unintentionally, cut these institutions loose from their intellectual moorings in the midst of a major cultural crisis. 20 years after the Land O'Lakes meeting, there were important changes in the thinking of some American Catholic higher educators, and an increasing awareness that something had gone seriously awry in Catholic higher education in the United States since Vatican II. From the heart of the Church, or Ex Corde Ecclesiae, was intended to help advance this reflection even further, but confusions about academic excellence and academic freedom in the distinctively Catholic context impeded the document's reception. The debate over the Catholic identity of Catholic colleges and universities would continue throughout Pope John Paul's pontificate. But all the more reason that he issued the document, because he was trying to clear up confusion in what he wrote. So, the identity and mission of a Catholic university, John Paul II. Christian inspiration, certainly, and therefore an institutional Christian presence in the university. It was important to maintain a continuing reflection in the light of the Catholic faith upon the growing treasury of human knowledge to which it seeks to contribute by its own research, the research of the university, fidelity to the Christian message as it comes through the Church, an institutional commitment to the transcendent goal which gives meaning to life. So this is, the purpose and the identity and mission of the Catholic University. Pope writes, in a word, being both a university and Catholic, it must be both a community of scholars representing various branches of human knowledge and an academic institution in which Catholicism is vitally present and operative. Further, he writes, in a Catholic university, research necessarily includes the search for an integration of knowledge, a dialogue between faith and reason, ethical concern, and theological perspective. The Catholic University, integration of knowledge. So we have different branches of knowledge that are taught and researched in a university. We have philosophy and theology, and university scholars need to be engaged in a constant effort to determine the relative place and meaning of each of the various disciplines within the context of a vision of the human person and the world that is enlightened by the gospel, therefore by faith in Christ as the center of creation and in human history. In promoting this integration of knowledge, a specific part of the Catholic University's task is to promote dialogue between faith and reason, so that it can be seen more profoundly how faith and reason bear harmonious witness to all truth. Important. Because knowledge is meant to serve the human person, research in a Catholic university is always carried out with a concern for the ethical and moral implications both of its methods and of its discoveries. And theology plays a particularly important role in the search for a synthesis of knowledge as well as in the dialogue between faith and reason. The Pope continues, because of its specific importance among academic disciplines, every Catholic university should have a faculty or at least a chair of theology. Through research and teaching, the students are educated in the various disciplines so as to become truly competent in the specific sectors in which they will devote themselves to the service of society and of the Church, but at the same time prepared to give the witness of their faith to the world. So, university community, authentic human community, animated by the Spirit of Christ. Christians among the teachers are called to be witnesses and educators of authentic Christian life. Students are challenged to pursue an education that combines excellence in humanistic and cultural development with specialized professional training. And then we have, of course, Catholic universities that are founded by religious congregations and continue to depend on the support of these congregations. And lay people, of course, founding or staffing many other Catholic universities. Pope writes, the future of Catholic universities depends to a great extent on the competent and dedicated service of lay Catholics. The Catholic university in the Church. Every Catholic university, without ceasing to be a university, has a relationship to the Church that is essential to its institutional identity. He writes, one consequence of its essential relationship to the Church is that the institutional fidelity of the university to the Christian message includes a recognition of an adherence to the teaching authority of the Church in matters of faith and morals. Catholic members of the university community are called to a personal fidelity to the Church with all that this implies. Bishops have a particular responsibility to promote Catholic universities, and especially to promote and assist in the preservation and strengthening of the Catholic identity, including the protection of the Catholic identity in relation to civil authorities. Again, to be a Catholic university, it's very important that the university is indeed Catholic in fact as well as in name. Bishops should encourage the creative work of theologians, as the Pope writes, since theology seeks an understanding of revealed truth whose authentic interpretation is entrusted to the bishops of the Church. It is intrinsic to the principles and methods of the research and teaching in their academic discipline that theologians respect the authority of the bishops. So the idea of a Catholic university being able to do anything and everything that that it comes down the pike, so to speak, whether or not it's consistent or supportive of Catholicism, it's just not right. It should be Catholic and not promoting worldly ideas or practices many of which go against the morality or the faith or what have you. The mission of service of a Catholic university. The basic mission of a university, the Pope writes, is a continuous quest for truth through its research and the preservation and communication of knowledge for the good of society. So, through teaching and research, a Catholic university offers an indispensable contribution to the Church. If need be, a Catholic university must have the courage to speak uncomfortable truths which do not please public opinion, but which are necessary to safeguard the authentic good of society. A specific priority, the Pope says, is the need to examine and evaluate the predominant values and forms of modern society and culture in a Christian perspective, and the responsibility to try to communicate to society those ethical and religious principles which give full meaning to human life. Every Catholic university feels responsible to contribute concretely to the progress of the society within which it works. For example, it will be capable of searching for ways to make university education accessible to those who are able to benefit from it, especially the poor or members of minority groups who customarily have been deprived of such an education. Pastoral ministry. Pastoral ministry is that activity of the university which offers the members of the university community an opportunity to integrate religious and moral principles with their academic study and non-academic activities, thus integrating faith and life. So, as the natural expression of the Catholic identity of the university community should give a practical demonstration of its faith in its daily activity, with important moments of reflection and of prayer. Catholic members of this community will be offered opportunities to assimilate Catholic teaching and practice in their lives and be encouraged to participate in the celebration of the sacraments, especially the Eucharist, as the most perfect act of community worship. Evangelization. The primary mission of the Church is to preach the gospel in such a way that the relationship between faith and life is established in each individual and in the socio-cultural context in which individuals live and act and communicate with one another. Catholic University fits into this mission, to say the least. Pope writes, by its very nature, each Catholic university makes an important contribution to the Church's work of evangelization. It is a living institutional witness to Christ and his message, or it's supposed to be anyway, so vitally important in cultures marked by secularism or where Christ and his message are still virtually unknown. General norms. The nature of a Catholic university is Catholic. It informs and carries out its research, teaching, and all other activities with Catholic ideals, principles, and attitudes. Every Catholic university is to make known its Catholic identity, either in a mission statement or in some other appropriate public document, authorized, unless authorized otherwise by the competent ecclesiastical authority. Catholic teaching and discipline are to influence all university activities, while the freedom of conscience of each person is to be fully respected. Any official action or commitment of the university is to be in accord with Catholic identity. University community, responsibility for maintaining and strengthening the Catholic identity of the university rests primarily with the university itself. The identity of a Catholic university is essentially linked to the quality of its teachers and to respect for Catholic doctrine. It is the responsibility of the competent authority to watch over these two fundamental needs in accordance with what is indicated in the canon law. All teachers and all administrators at the time of their appointment are to be informed about the Catholic identity of the institution and its implications, and about their responsibility to promote or at least to respect that identity in ways appropriate to the different academic disciplines. All Catholic teachers are to be faithful to, and all other teachers are to respect Catholic doctrine and morals and research and teaching. In order not to endanger the Catholic identity of the university or institute of higher studies, the number of non-Catholic teachers should not be allowed to constitute a majority within the institution, which is and must remain Catholic. The education of students is to combine academic and professional development with formation in moral and religious principles and the social teachings of the Church. Every Catholic university, the Pope writes, is to maintain communion with the Universal Church and the Holy See. It is to be in close communion with the local church, and in particular with the diocesan bishops of the region or nation in which it is located, in ways consistent with its nature as a university. A Catholic university will contribute to the Church's work of evangelization. Each bishop has a responsibility to promote the welfare of Catholic universities in his diocese, and has the right and duty to watch over the preservation and strengthening of their Catholic character. If problems should arise concerning this Catholic character, the local bishop is to take the initiatives necessary to resolve the matter, working with the competent university authorities in accordance with established procedures, and if necessary, with the help of the Holy See. The Constitution, the present Constitution, is in effect and has been in effect since 1991. And needless to say, there's much work to be done in this area of Catholicizing many of our universities. It amazes me to think that some of these universities are thoroughly secularized. They use the name Catholic, but they don't abide by what the Pope said. And oftentimes the local bishops don't do anything. The Bishops' Conference oftentimes is silent. You'll have people awarded, people who promote abortion with special awards, this type of thing. Or you'll have, in one particular case, the president of the theology department wasn't even a Catholic, and he had some very, very bad ideas concerning who Jesus was. And I don't even want to say what he thought, but why would you hire anybody like that? And the contraceptive rebellion was largely connected with a terrible professor at the so-called Catholic University in Washington, and because of a particular priest who used to be there. Terrible. And for the longest time he was allowed to go free in his false teaching, so Pope John Paul II was able to get him out. And there are many, many other examples, too many to really to speak about. The idea that some of these professors have that the Catholic faith somehow is a hindrance to them in their studies or in their teaching is just not right. I mean, the more we know about the Lord, the more we put things together in the grand scheme of things. And being a well-informed Catholic doesn't mean that we're somehow impeded in our understanding of life, or somehow it's not good for our education. And when political correctness becomes more important than our religion, which is unfortunately true with too many of these universities, things are not good. So please pray for the welfare, well-being of good, solid Catholic universities. We need more of them. And for the transformation of those that aren't really very Catholic at all. And for good shepherds, priests especially, and even the Holy Father, to maintain oversight of these places and religious communities that run some of these places. So with that in mind, thank you for listening. God bless you. May Almighty God bless you, the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Catholic Files with Father Sean Donnelly. We're grateful you joined us as we explored the richness of our Catholic faith. We hope today's episode inspired you and encouraged you to dive deeper into the treasures of the Church. Join us next week as we reflect on the powerful writings of St. John Paul II and how his words continue to guide and strengthen us. If you were blessed by this episode, please share it with family and friends so they can grow in faith too. And we warmly invite you to visit Immaculate Conception Church. Masses are held throughout the week. For the full schedule, visit www.iccmadison.com. Thank you again for listening. May God bless you abundantly.